from the Dignity Health Studios of the Bakersfield, California, it's time to open up with real people, real talk about real stuff. And now, a special welcome to our friends throughout California, across the nation, and around the world to this week's edition of Open Up.
Oh, wow. We're on. Good morning. I'm Tina Miller.
With a cold or something here.
With something that's ravaging my throat, but I've got the best thing for it. It's called Killer C at Nature's Food Market and Juice Bar.
I bet. That'll kill it. And I'm Don Clark, and we're your favorite pair on the air. We're here as a show that's meant to encourage everyone who's going through tough times and how we get through to the other end. You're going through a tough time this morning, aren't you?
Oh, I sure would like to be in bed, Don.
All right.
But okay, I'm okay. I'm happy to be here. And look at what Denise Haddock brought.
Oh, always these beautiful decorations.
Yes.
Denise Haddock, thanks so much for doing that.
Yes, Denise Haddock, Interior Designs. She does the best.
Well, listen, we've got something I think you're really going to want to hear today. Just a little bit ahead in our program. You're a mom, you're a dad, you've done your best to raise your kids. What do you do when you find out they've got themselves hooked on drugs? And that whole ordeal began. We're going to, and particularly if you're prominent in the community, you're a leader, you have a certain reputation, your family has a reputation, perhaps you're a pastor, an elder, something like that. I mean, it's a double whammy. And we're going to be hearing from a friend of mine from fraternity days who went on to become the president of a seminary and a global traveler for traveling, and suddenly his kids, son and daughter, get hooked on drugs. And he's written a book called Hit by a Ton of Bricks, and we're going to have him on by audio from Phoenix, Arizona. And he's going to share that whole ordeal, and I think it'll be a real encouragement to you. But you know how often it is people live right next door to Disneyland all their lives and never go. Or they live in the Dakotas right next door to to Mount Rushmore, and they never go.
Never go.
And, well, we've got one of those wonderful facilities here that a lot of people just never go, and we're talking about the wonderful Kern County Museum. And we are delighted today to have the new director of the Kern County Museum, Roger Perez. 2 years now into your leadership, Roger. And it was hard to get him on the show because he just has so many things going right now. So,
just to
Roger,
pin me down for a minute, which I appreciate that you have.
Well, let's just take a running start at this. What drew you? I mean, you've done a lot of things in your life. What drew you to offer leadership to a museum?
I think it's. It may sound a little corny, but I really think it became a calling. So here I am. I was at North of the River Recreation and Parks before I went to the museum, and the thing that really I started my career in television a long time ago, and we've known each other for many years now, and there was a path there that started from college and high school, and I sort of slowly gravitated over to things that were more family oriented. I absolutely ended up there when I was at NOR. So we were there, and we have our children, and everything that I did at NOR had to do with the kids, and we were able to bring our kids to things, which is fantastic. You can't do that in TV so much, but when the opportunity came up for the museum, I had been at NOR for almost 10 years.
And I just want to tell our viewers around the state and around the world that when Roger says NOR, that means north of the river. And what that means is Bakersfield's kind of divided into Bakersfield and Oildale. Right. And Oildale is on the other side of the river. So when we talk about that, that's what we're talking about.
And it's a recreation and park district, which, so the idea is that it was in recreation, and we were, I was with the kids, and I got to hang out, and we got to do great things for our community. And I had been at NOR for quite a while, and it was just, it was time to start looking for another opportunity. And the museum opportunity came up, and here was a place that, like you said, this diamond in the rough. It was Disneyland in our backyard. And it just needs that little nudge over the edge. We need to remind our community that we have this beautiful gem. And one, it was challenge, which was fantastic. And two, it's highlighting the fact that, so here's another thing for the kids to do. Here's another thing for the families to do. Here's another thing that you can come out, you can learn about our wonderful history here in Kern County, but you can really have a great day. And frankly, in one of the shadiest places in town. You know, so for me, it was that next logical
Shady
step.
in the sense of a lot of trees.
Shady, that's true. Providing of shade.
We do have other shady areas in Bakersfield.
That's right.
All right. Well, Roger, I don't think using the term calling is at all corny. I think that's
True.
when you feel that kind of nudge in your life, we
Right,
need to
and
follow those
it's
things.
time to go. And,
Yeah.
you know, whether it's God telling you to do it or, you know, whoever, wife, friend, children. Absolutely. So yeah, I'd say it was a calling. I think that's.
And
that's
your
what it was.
predecessor here, we brought in this big, well-known guy from far away, and he was supposed to do great things. In a year or less, he's gone. I mean, how is it to follow something that kind of a bit of turmoil there?
Double-edged sword. Double-edged sword. I think, you know, in one way, people definitely give you a little bit more of a wide berth, and they give you a little bit more opportunity. I'll say I have come into working with the best board of directors anywhere, and obviously I'm jaded and biased, but my board of directors is a working board. They're wonderful people, and they make it easy to make those decisions that we have to make, and they make it easy for us to make all the hard work. So coming in after someone that had been here for a shorter period of time, I mean, there were some bumpy things and some bumpy roads that we had to fix. But one of the things I think that I've developed over the years here in town is the ability to work relationships a little bit, and that's all a lot of that took. And I think if you really look at the museum itself too, it's all about communication. It's all about telling people about this wonderful place. It's about sharing the great things that we do there, and the same thing works with relationships that may have been hurt a little bit in the short time, or, you know, whatever the thing may be. So in a lot of ways, it was a very good thing, because it allowed me to, it almost cleared the slate for the museum, and then it allows us to come in and really take a path. Okay, we need to do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and really there's nothing in the way now for that, which is nice.
Roger, tell us more about the Kern County Museum and, you know, hours of operation and
The
things
museum
like that.
itself, and actually this is something that happened new over the last year. We less than 6 months now. We are now actually open every day of the week. It was a big thing, and I think it's kind of a thing across the country that museums are typically closed on Mondays for some reason. But we actually have been working. I'm on the board of directors at the Convention and Visitors Bureau here in town, and we get a lot of research about when people are spending their time here. So people are coming in over the weekend, and then it seems like they're always looking for something to do on Monday before they leave for their flights or whatever, and there really wasn't anything for them to do. There were a couple of things open around. So it was about 3 months ago, we decided to move into being open every day. So we're open from 10 to 5, Monday through Saturday, and then from noon to 5 on Sunday.
Has that really worked?
Yes, it actually has. I like to brag, the first week that we did that, we had, I think it was 3 tour buses in the parking lot, and they were it was a really good idea to open on Monday. So,
Roger, if you'd like to give credit where credit is due, feel free to name some of those outstanding members on your board of directors.
Absolutely. I mean, you know, a lot of people have heard of, well, hopefully, Cheryl Barbich, and she's been very instrumental in a lot of things in town. Vision 2020 in particular.
She
was
is a
real big thing with
firebug.
her. We have our chairman of the board is Bob LaRude, who's the
yeah.
Recreation and Parks Director, and we're very much of the same mindset. Obviously, we're parks guys, you know. So, but Bob has been a really great guiding force. We have Beth Pandel, who's an amazing friend. I've known Beth for a very long time, but also just a great creative mind. Has really great ties with the community, the farming community in particular, and the water community. We have Jackie Denny, who is the current treasurer, tax collector, and she's about to retire, actually, so we'll get her more, which is good. We have Steve Sanders, who's actually with the superintendent of schools. He's basically the second in command. So we've got very influential people on the board. Barbara Patrick, former Kern County supervisor.
Yeah, great people.
Tracy Kaiser, who owns H. Walker Clothing for Men.
Yep.
And I'm trying not to miss anybody now that I've started naming everybody.
Well,
But
listen,
I
Roger,
believe I've got them all.
we've got about 2 minutes left.
Oh, and Kay Pitts is our
Okay.
new board member. So
Well, now you've had 2 years, so that really you do kind of have a before and after.
Absolutely.
What's really shaping up now, and what's the future? And briefly,
actually,
quickly.
the simplest way to put it is what's shaping up is the look and feel of that museum. We've had over the years some, a lot of change, a lot of sort of shaking up, and there's been some maybe deferred maintenance, things that were kind of falling into disrepair. Over this last 2 years, we've really done a lot to repair the things that need to get us up to standard. So we've done a lot of painting of the village. We've done a lot of sort of fixing of our programs that go inside the village. The biggest thing that's noticeable is our main entrance right now is the Jim Burke Plaza, which our main entrance, if anybody's familiar with the museum from the past, it basically was a barbed wire fence,
Yeah.
and you had to sort of check your children at the door. And
Looked
it was-
like a
it was very
minimum
weird.
security
So,
prison. Yeah.
exactly, and you couldn't see in the museum at all. There were giant trees in it, which trees are nice, but
Yes.
they were blocking the view to the museum. Now, when you walk up to the front of the museum, it's much more open. You can actually see the museum from the street all the way into Pioneer Village, probably for the first time in 50 years. So our goal is to continue that path. We want to open up more. The next big project will be an update of our main gallery. We used to use the Chamber of Commerce building there in the front as a gallery, and it over the years has gone to more of a rental space. Well, we're bringing that back, and we're going to make the main entrance there. We're going to have more signage on the front of the building like other museums, so when you drive up, museum. And then the programs. We're really trying hard to make sure that not only in events which create a lot of exposure for the museum, like the Nut Festival and Brews in the Village Fest, rather, but we're really doing a lot to improve our educational programs. So we're doing a lot more tours. We're doing a lot more partnerships with school districts to bring kids in for California History Day and those types of things, and science.
Well, folks, here's the good part. We're going to have Roger Perez back just before Halloween because one of the greatest
yes.
events in Bakersfield is what they do at Halloween, and what a wonderful place to bring children, maybe for the first time, and see all the changes and get involved. So, Roger, congratulations
Thank you
on
very
your
much.
leadership,
Thank
your board of directors. Thanks for coming on today.
Thank
We look
you.
forward to seeing you in late October.
Excellent. Thank
And
you.
when we come back, what do you do if your kids get hooked on drugs? We're going to talk to a man who says you're not alone, and that's the ministry he's created. We'll be right back.